Hello there. I am finally getting over to EPCOT to check out the International Festival of the Arts this year, and you know the drill, I came hungry. I'm gonna grab anything that I think looks good, and I'm specifically on the lookout for items that I think are the best value. At the end, I'll let you know what items I think are the best value for your money here at the fest and what are the worst. So let's hop to it. Something I do want to mention before we take a trip around the world, if you happen to rope drop EPCOT, none of the festival booths actually open until 11, so if you also come hungry like me, you'll be looking at Starbucks or Joffrey's for breakfast. Which actually led me to this little side quest while waiting for the booths to open. It's surprisingly delicious. This is so good. So I know I'm here to look at festival food, but I was starving because I didn't realize stuff didn't open until 11. And someone was super nice and paid it forward and got us a Joffrey's coffee. What is this one called? It's the chocolate strawberry one. I'll show a picture of the sign because I have goldfish brain. And we were starving, so I said, oh, let's get a donut. You can tell I've already ripped into this. This is like super soft and fresh, and I know I like to rag on Joffrey's. I just feel like their coffee is not my favorite, but this donut is so fresh and soft. This is like shockingly delicious. So, pretty sweet way to start the day. I actually usually don't like fruit and chocolate together, but this is actually nice. The strawberry syrup in there is kind of light. It's just kind of like a hint of strawberry. And I think it helps that it's a dark chocolate instead of like a milk chocolate or something. I think that blends like a little bit better with the actual strawberry flavoring. So this is actually delicious. It has cute little hearts on top for Valentine's Day. I think I'm filming this and I think tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so we got an early start. But this is actually really yummy and I would definitely recommend you grab one of these. Now that we have a sturdy base of donuts and sugar milk, let's head to America. Looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna get the hummingbird cake, and we are gonna get, I can't pass up a peanut butter chocolate milk stout, so let's go over there. Let's try the peanut butter stout first. Oh, that is good. I do taste the chocolate. So I'm not tasting much of the peanut butter. I'm tasting more of the like chocolate milk part of it. But this is good. Actually, like this is good enough where I feel like I would get, it comes in 6 and I think 12 ounce, right? I would get a 12 ounce of this. I'd get the big one. I might come back and get another one of those later. That's really good. All right, so this looks like peanut butter and pineapple down here, which is interesting. This looks like maybe caramel here. Got a little pecan on top. All right, let's dig in. All right, so I have high expectations. I grew up in a place where hummingbird cake was a thing that we had pretty often. So it looks, sorry everybody, pretty moist. Doesn't look dry. Let's go ahead and try to get a good bite. All right, let's get a little of the caramel. Let's get some of this pineapple. It's very sweet. This kind of frosting on top is more of like a whipped cream consistency, but it has kind of a cream cheese flavor to it. Let's try the cake just on its own. The cake has a nice consistency. I'm used to having, I guess what I've had has had more nuts throughout the entire thing. The caramel on its own is really good. The pineapple, it's fine. It feels like just more sugar. I see some maybe nuts in here. I'm not getting much of that banana flavor coming through. I think this is good. It's not the best hummingbird cake I've ever had, but I wouldn't avoid this. If you like hummingbird cake in general, or you think the ingredients sound good, I think this is nice. And what was this, like $5.25? $5 even. If you want something sweet, I think this is so far pretty good. I think this is way better of a value than like that chocolate chip cookie that you paint on. I think this would be, if you're deciding between those two, then this would be the winner. But I think, what would I give this? I think I would give this a 3 out of 5. Pretty good, but I don't think you need to make a special trip just to get this.
It's heating up, so I think it's time we pay our old pal Figment a visit to cool off.
Okay, so we got the Figment Imagination Lemonade with the South Seas, which is, it had ginger and, I'll put in a picture, goldfish brain. It's a paper straw, so you gotta drink it quick. It comes with one of those little candied oranges on top, which I actually low-key kind of love these. That's a kind of a good flavor combination. I do taste the ginger. The ginger is gingerin. It's not too strong. It's not like a kick in the teeth or anything, but it is a nice kind of like gingery. It's like a light burn. Nothing too bad. It's sweet, but it's not like overly sweet. It's not cloying or anything like that. It's a hot day and this is super refreshing and this is delicious. Now this, I think, and this is kind of a sturdier cup. So you get to take it home and then you can see it's really cool. We got the blue cup, but it changes colors where the cold is touching the cup. So a very cool little souvenir cup. This is actually decent value at $5. Can't go wrong.
Up next is opening bites.
Welcome to the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts.
Here's a second shot at the menu for you guys. It's maybe a little easier for you to read.
This looks awfully tasty. So hey little guy, here's looking at you. All right, here's the crab slider. This is the scone with a little caviar on top because we are fancy. This looks really good. I hope it's like, if you guys remember that smoked salmon thing we had at the time during Festival of the Holidays, I'm fingers crossed that it tastes kind of like that actually. And then we obviously had to get the rose, even though it is hot outside and I hope it doesn't melt. It looks so pretty. I think we're gonna try this first. Comment down below, do you guys like soft shell crab? It always feels weird to like eat the feet. Feels like I shouldn't be doing it, but it looks like it's gonna taste really good. So let's get into this. Maybe I'll give you guys a little, look, I'll lift the curtain for you. So if you can see, there's that ketchup, there's the slaw that's down there. Let's try this on its own. I saw some other reviews where people complained that this was fishy. This isn't really fishy to me. I mean, it is like a seafood, so it does taste a little bit like fish, but it's not fishy like something is bad or anything like that. That's pretty yummy. Some of the crab. The slaw's good. It's not mayonnaise based. So if you're like me and you're not a big mayonnaise person, that's not gonna bother you. But it also isn't really pickly. It's almost just like some yummy vegetables. There's carrots. I'm not sure what this is, maybe jicama or something. That's pretty good. This ketchup, it's like some kind of mango ketchup. It tastes a little bit more like cocktail sauce. This is delicious. I really like this. I'm glad I wasn't disappointed because this was one of the things I was looking forward to the most.
Hopefully you guys can see my camera, like me, is having trouble focusing. I think this is a solid 4 and would have been a 5 if the crab itself had been a little bit crispier.
You know what's next? This really looks and smells like a Cheddar Bay biscuit. I hope it is a Cheddar Bay biscuit, honestly. Maybe a little on the salty side, but just in the way that smoked salmon is salty. Let's try some of the biscuit by itself. The bread itself is really good. Let's try. This is like sour cream. This is delicious. See the capers? So I think that's what's adding to the saltiness. There's a tiny bit of chives, a little onion, Looks like there's maybe some dill. I would come and get this. This is really yummy.
This is another 4 for me. The scone, by nature of being a scone, was a bit on the dry side, and even with the addition of the creme fraiche, it was dry. It really should have been a cheddar bay biscuit.
You can tell we've wilted a little bit in the sun. Looks really good. So there's the raspberry filling inside right there. That looks really good. Let's get a good bite. Ah, timber. Let's see if I get some of this cookie. It's like kind of a shortbread. It's softer. Okay, there's some green kind of, I guess, frosting down here. Nope, it's like a powder. All right, let's get some cookie. So I'm still not a huge chocolate and fruit person. I just have to preface this with that. But this was so pretty, I felt like I had to get it. How can I not get the rose? I like that filling in the middle. It's really tart, and I think it does go well with the chocolate. I feel like the coffee that we had this morning, that was really good. The strawberry and the chocolate together, mostly because I like the dark chocolate in combination. Whereas I feel like this, it doesn't taste as elevated. I feel like because it's the milk chocolate. The shortbread is not really adding much to it for me. It's a little bit of a textural difference, but it's too soft. I think I wish that the shortbread underneath had a little more of a snap to it. I think that would go a little bit better. Otherwise, it's kind of like something mushy paired with something soft with like a mushy filling. I think it's pretty, but I don't think I would get it again.
If, like me, you need a little break from stuffing your face, they have artists painting live on stage, a 30 Years of Disney on Broadway exhibit in Communicore Hall, which is an excellent use of space. The Aladdin display was my favorite. Kind of looks like my studio right now. There is also lots of art to buy and artist meet and greets. This meet and greet here is the current voice of Mickey Mouse. And there is a ton of amazing chalk art, including this very cool Indiana Jones one I love. And the Disney on Broadway concert series. Back to the food. Next up is Gourmet Landscapes. I didn't follow my rule here about avoiding heat lamp food, so fingers crossed. Both of these items are plant-based, and first up is the citrus braised beet tartare and the wild mushroom risotto. And this is the raspberry charrette double radler.
All right, let's try double radler first. Oh, I'm glad we got this. This is actually delicious. I can actually taste the raspberry. Yeah, this is 5 out of 5. Tastes like kind of almost more like a cider that's not very sweet, but that raspberry is like really coming through. If it's hot like it always is, this is a like absolute must. The beet tartare next. You're not gonna be here over the music that's gonna get me a copyright strike, but nice and crispy. The bread on its own is actually not bad. It's got maybe a hint garlicky flavor to it. That's pretty good. Let's try some of this beet. So I've got pistachios, I've got mustard seed, I've got very expensive Trader Joe's looking mushroom that I can't quite name, microgreens. So that's my bite. Get it all on here. So the mustard seed's present. Oh, those are pretty good. It's really light and refreshing. Let's try it without the bread. I think the combination of the mustard and the beets are really good together. It tastes like feta cheese. The yellow stuff tastes like maybe a different kind of beet, but the pistachio is kind of a nice crunch. I don't really even need the bread. It just makes it feel like a better value if you're really hungry. because I feel like you're not gonna get full from this, but it is just a nice, light, refreshing bite. I would give this probably like a 4. Let's risotto it up. The broth itself tastes kind of oniony. The risotto is a little on the soft side for me. I'm not getting much of a bite, but it's pretty good with the Parmesan. I like that we got some truffle in here, some parsley. Let's get some of that. It's a nice bite, and I feel like I would have liked to see maybe one more element in here that would have added a little textural difference, but this is pretty solid. This might be another 4, actually. So far this booth, 3 for 3.
Up next is Pop Eats. And we grab the grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Copywritten music playing in the background. All right, can we get a cheese pull? I will say these were sitting and this is not hot. No, that's not a cheese pull, that's bread, guys. Not a cheese pull. It's buttery, little soup donk. It's okay. This tastes like Campbell's soup. You don't need to get this.
At $6, this is pretty meh. The soup is really watery and acidic, and the cheese on this is pretty anemic. This is a skip for me. Now another booth I've been looking forward to, the Craftsman's Courtyard. We grabbed the beef Wellington inspired croissant supreme and the cast iron roasted PEI mussels. First up is the beef. Despite our plastic cutlery struggle, the beef was actually pretty tender, the croissant was buttery and flaky, and the mustard seeds did a great job of cutting through the mushroom gorgonzola ragu and balancing everything out. Solid 5 stars. The stout that's listed on the signage has actually been swapped out for Sullivan's Black Marble Stout.
All right, let's try a little of, this is just the tomatoes with some of the toast. This is really good. All right, full bite. Mussel, bread, tomato. If they're tender, they're not overcooked. These were made fresh when I was over there, so they're still nice and hot. They didn't sit under a heat lamp or anything like that. They're not overly fishy. I would also say I think it's a pretty good value because I have a pretty big bowl of them here. It is. I was just saying that. It's a nice portion.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were recording.
Oh, no, I don't care. I might leave it in. I don't care. But yeah, you get a big bowl of mussels. Someone just was going by and said, wow, that's a big portion of mussels. It wasn't that expensive. Oh, I have the receipt, so I'll let you know. Editing Lauren will let you know what this costs, but not bad at all. It's good, right? Husband approved. They should give you a second bowl so you can like put your shells in. Whatever soup is left, just throw your mussel trash right into it. But don't put your mussels in there and then eat it, because then you'll ruin the mussels. I'm gonna give these mussels a 5. I think these are really good. Tasty, good portion, it's a good value. Probably one of the best things I've eaten. And I saw him putting these on the grill back there, so when you go through the line, you'll pick up your mussels and all your tasty accoutrements will all be from the grill, so nice and fresh. All right, it's beer 30. So this is not the stout that was actually listed in the book. They switched it out for the Sullivan Stout. They said it was great, so it is really good. It's really smooth and creamy. I'd say the beer is maybe a 4, only because it's very drinkable and delicious, but I think it could have a little bit more flavor.
Now we're headed to Tangerine Café, Flavors of the Medina. This is one of my favorite pavilions at EPCOT. It is really gorgeous. We got the avocado coconut custard tart, and it is plant-based, FYI. If you are doing the wonderful walk of colorful cuisine, that's kind of a mouthful, you get a stamp for this. Here's a nice little cross section for you. You can see the layers of avocado, pomegranate mousse, and the little gelée on top, sitting in a little pool of pomegranate syrup. It's a pretty dessert, at least. It's not overly sweet, which I appreciate, and you get more of the sweetness from the syrup. The pomegranate mousse is yummy and has a nice light texture and a fruity flavor, but the gelée on top, while pretty, isn't really doing much. The avocado mousse itself is where this really struggles. It tastes like they used cheap mass-produced avocado product in here, which comes across really bland and even has a little bit of bitterness on the back end. The crust is kind of soggy, and that doesn't help either. A valiant effort at something a little more elevated, but unfortunately falls short. Up next is Fictional Victuals. I have really been looking forward to trying the squid ink pasta here. I think this is a pretty healthy portion for the price, and when I got this, it wasn't sitting out under a heat lamp. They assembled it and handed it to me fresh, which is awesome. We also grabbed the barrel-aged cognac porter. I love a good porter, so I also have high hopes for this.
It does have like a little bit of a cognac-y taste.
This was really smooth and a little malty. If you're a porter gal like me, I think this is worth a try. So squid ink pasta is actually one of my favorite kinds of pasta. The best I've had so far was at the Smith in New York. So whenever I see it available, I get really excited. This is looking really great. You can see there's lots of lump crab here. The noodles look really well coated in the truffle cream, and we brought some shaved truffle to the party too.
Didn't drop it. That's actually delicious. The breadcrumbs are a nice crunch. Pecorino cheese maybe that's on here. That's super good. And the truffle. It's really good, but it's not overly salty. This actually, for the price, I don't think is that bad. So, big thumbs up.
Okay, so while we didn't try everything at the fest this year, we did manage to try a decent amount of items at 9 of the booths, and I think I tried everything that, well, looked worth trying to me. There were some booths we skipped entirely, like Refreshment Outpost because all they had food-wise was a chocolate chip cookie, or Italy because the prices were high and the portions looked small. Value to me is really about cost versus portion, elevated quality of ingredients, or even if I think the item would cost me more at a different location. That being said, here are the items that I think were the worst and best value that we tried. I hate to do it, but the Enchanted Rose over at Opening Bites wasn't really worth the money. I'm pretty sure there have been better renditions of this, and the portion and flavor wasn't really there. It was great to look at though. Another skip for me is going to be the mushroom risotto at Gourmet Landscapes. I did actually enjoy it, but $9.75 feels like a lot for me for what's essentially a giant bowl of rice. Maybe if there had been some veggies added to this, it would feel like a better bang for my buck. And you knew this was coming. The tomato soup over at Pop Eats should be avoided at all costs. This was hands down the worst thing we ate at the fest, and it felt like I had really wasted my money as soon as I took my first bite. I found the soup to be pretty acrid, and I've made better grilled cheeses myself as a kid. And you would think for $6 I would get the entire sandwich. Skip, skip, skip. I like to end on a positive note, and hear me out, the Figment lemonade at the Odyssey was great. At only $5, you get kind of a little souvenir cup, a good portion of lemonade, and the flavor combos were pretty fun. It really hits on a hot day, and I think that a lot of people will really enjoy this. The squid ink pasta at Fictional Victuals was another good value item, and while this came in at $7.75, it was $2 cheaper than that plant-based risotto, was a good portion, and had elevated ingredients. And I think the item that was one of the absolute best values at the fest are the mussels over at the Craftsman Courtyard for $8. I got something like 14 or 15 mussels, and they were fresh, really delicious, and the item that I would make a beeline for if I were in EPCOT right now. So there you have it. Those are my 2 cents. Well, I spent way more than that, but let me know down below, what were your favorite items from the fest this year? What item would you go back for right now? Well, that's all from me today. I will see you in the next one. Go forth, be kind, be creative.